इस लाइव सेशन का की जो हेडिंग है उसको अगर आपने ध्यान से पढ़ा है तो उस पे आज जो विचार हम करने जा रहे हैं, वॉट एवर वी आर गोइंग टू स्पीक अबाउट इट, अबाउट ऑन द टॉपिक, इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. Why it is going to be interesting to narrate to you, let me start my today's session with some of my experiences that I would like to share with you. Okay, I asked you a question in the description as well as the title. How deep is your love? Now, it is as deep as your horoscope. There was a couple I knew personally. They were in relationship for 7 years, 7 long years, and they were waiting to get married. Then one fine day they got married. It was not even 9 months that they call upon me that they want to go ahead with the divorce. Now, what kept them in that 9 years or 7 years of relationship, and what went wrong in the 9 months is something that I'm going to discuss with you today. I have got some points. I have, every time when I come to an end of a session or a video, I always think, "Arey, this point I forgot. Yeah, I should have shared this point with my viewers." So what I've done today, I have put some points over here so that I don't forget any point, because I personally feel this session today is going to be very interesting. So first of all, I welcome Naveen. I welcome Nupur. Good evening, Nupur. Uh, Purva, hi. My voice is cracking. I'm sorry. Is it fine now? Please send me a message. क्या अभी मेरी आवाज ऑडिबल है? Hello, check 1 2. Hello. Okay, okay. Ketos, thank you so much. Now today's topic, I have mentioned that the fifth house and the seventh house speaks about. So let us first understand what is a fifth house and what is your seventh house. In your horoscope, this is the first house, this is the fifth house, and this is the seventh house. Fifth house, seventh house. आज का जो टॉपिक है, today's topic, we are going to only concentrate on these two houses, the fifth and the seventh. I want you all to pay attention. I don't mind this video going a little pretty long also, but then I want to share my experience with you. Okay, एक मिनट, my voice is audible, but there is a crackle when I speak. No, why is that? Mr. Parth, okay. Nupur, so you're audible, but whenever you are saying something, it's cracking, sort of. Okay, one second. I made some changes. Is it better now? Mr. Parth? Hmm, my mic is perfect here. This is the same mic that I've been using for a long time now. Okay, 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 fine. Okay. So let us start now. So this is the fifth house and the seventh house. Now let me start with the session. I was waiting for people to join in. Okay. Thank you so much for all of you all, who are coming in. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. See, what is the difference in a boyfriend or a girlfriend and a wife and a husband? We have to understand this first, so we will get to know what exactly is the reason or the root cause why so many relationships do not work. See, the fifth house is a house of creativity. We say it is a house of romance. It is the third house from the third, Bhavat Bhavam. What is the third house? Third house is a house of desires, desire to communicate, right? It is the second house from the fourth house. Here, when you are growing, when you realize there are some hormonal changes, the first desire of any human being, any living being, I would say, there are some biological needs. What happens is in the fifth house, it's all about romance. Sometimes it is very short lived, sometimes it goes for a very long time. Sometimes, I believe that each one of us, including all of you all who is watching me over here, each one of us, we do act. We are different at home, we are different outside, we are different at our workplace, we are different with our friends and our family. The only place that we are ourselves is when we are in the privacy. Please understand that. That is why I have always said that the 12th house of your horoscope is a very private house. Anyway, so now many of us, you must have realized, when you have a girlfriend in your life or when you have a boyfriend in your life, a boy would always want a girlfriend who looks very beautiful. She wears something like, very attractive, and he wants to take her around to show the other people that I have this beautiful girl in my life, or the girl would have a same feeling. But many of you must have realized the moment the relation gets into a commitment, the same person, the same man in your life changes, and then he starts telling you, I would love to, as a girlfriend, okay, but I would love to see you. I see you in a sari. This is where the real you comes out. Now, I asked that couple who came to me after 7 years of relationship and 9 months of marriage, which is coming to an end. मैंने उनसे पूछा क्या बात है, ऐसी क्या बात है कि 7 years you were all happy together and what happened now? The female was saying, first he used to come, he used to bring gifts for me, he used to care for me, and all those sort of things. Then I asked her, and I'm asking you also the same question, a very straight question. And please understand, when I am giving you this, I don't want to just be a preacher. Let me tell you very frankly and honestly, I am also the part of the same situation. We all go through this. And we all, when we fall back and understand कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ, तो आज हम जानते हैं ऐसा क्यों हुआ. Somebody asked me a very beautiful question. That time, let me admit that I was wrong and the other person was right. If I ask all of you, so many people over here, if I ask you a question, do you enjoy the process or do you enjoy the result of anything on this planet? Anything, what comes to your mind? Do you enjoy the process or you enjoy the result? I'm waiting for the reply from you all. I repeat my question. Do we enjoy the process or do we enjoy the result? Okay, now Amita says result and Mr. Path says the process. Okay. Nupur Chaudhary also says it's the process. Now I will बहुत छोटे से उदाहरण से बात करूंगा. हम जब रेस दौड़ते हैं, okay, we run the race for the trophy. So running the race or getting prepared for the race or training yourself is all the process. And that is where that is the enjoyment. But what happens once you win the race and the trophy is in your hand? What next is the big question. एक बार हाथ में ट्रॉफी आ गई तो वो आपके घर में किसी ना किसी जगह पे किसी डिस्प्ले शेल्फ पे पड़ी रहेगी. Maybe once in a blue moon you will remove it, you will just wipe it and keep it back. Am I right or wrong? I want to bring it to, मैं समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं कि what is the 5th house and the 7th house. When you come to the 5th house is the girlfriend, 7th house is the wife. When girlfriends say there is a shift into the 7th house, there is a lot of difference into it. Now, what is the difference? Shall be the topic of the day today. धर्मपत्नी या धर्मपति आपके जीवन में क्यों आते हैं? आप उसी से शादी कर सकते हो जब आपकी कुंडली में आपका 5th हाउस और आपका 7th हाउस दोनों के लॉर्ड अगर स्ट्रांग है, ऑस्पिशियस है, तभी वही लड़की जो आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड है, वही लड़की 7वें घर में जाकर के आपकी पत्नी बन सकती है. Okay, let me see some of your question, because then what will have happened? आप लोग के सारे चीजें. Okay, the result. I am running 5th lord. Please, Monica Sharma, topic पे बात करेंगे अभी हम. Process doesn't end in a way as we are always evolving and growing. Okay, ठीक है, चलो, I agree. Now, when I talk about a part, अगर मैं कहूंगा कि मुझे आज रात का खाना बनाना है, खाना तो हमें रोज ही खाना है. मैं बात कर रहा हूं वो एक खाना, वो एक मील की बात कर रहा हूं. मैं वो एक रेस की बात कर रहा था. तो उसको कंफ्यूज मत करो. So she says that we often grow out of relationship. I'm coming to that. I am coming to that only. Now, in your horoscope, If your fifth house and the seventh house is auspicious, if they are complementing, then I would say yes, your girlfriend or your boyfriend can be your husband or can be your wife. Why? Why is that we do not have any rituals? We don't have any rituals when you have to propose a girl. कॉलेज में या किसी जगह पे किसी लड़की को देख करके जब आप उससे रिलेशन बनाने जाते हो तो क्या आप किसी रिचुअल में पढ़ते हो? नहीं. But what happens when you want to get married, whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim or a Catholic or a Parsi or whatever religion you belong to? Why is a ritual very important? Because it is important because now you are getting into a contract. Now, what is this contract? This contract is now the karmas will start playing into it now. Okay, I'm getting okay. I got it. I got it. Now, second light. Am I too dark? मतलब मेरे आसपास बहुत डार्कनेस है. See the second light. If I put on the second light, there would be a glare from behind. I'll put it on. No problem. As you wish. Are you happy now? See, there's a glare from behind now. That will be even more. The face is in darkness. You will still feel darkness now. Okay, one sec. Is it little better now? एक मिनट, हाँ होल्ड कीजिएगा. मुझे पीछे की लाइट बंद करने दो. Is this fine now? I have a light over here. Okay. Now, when you want to get into a wedlock, why do we say dharma patni or dharma pati? This is where till now when you were in your relationship but not married, okay, आपके कर्मास प्ले नहीं कर रहे थे. Okay, your karmas were not affecting each other. But the moment you go around the fire or whatever, you have the ritual and you sign a contract and then you are into a relationship, आप एक दूसरे के कर्मास को भुगतने के लिए तैयार हो. After your marriage, your D9 chart, the Nauman's chart will only activate after you get married. That is why D9 chart is a chart we look for the spouse. तो D9 चार्ट कितना भी स्ट्रॉन्ग क्यों ना हो, इट विल नॉट एक्टिवेट टिल यू गेट मैरिड. रिलेशनशिप में 25 साल रहो आप. ओके, देन सी today's generation believe in relationship. Now I'm not blaming the generation, okay, मैं कोई इतना पुराने जनरेशन का नहीं हूं, but still, okay, they fall into love out of emotion. Emotion plays a very important role, no doubt about it, but then sometimes it is more of an infatuation than otherwise. और क्यों होता है मैं आपको बताता हूं. See, whether it is a boy or whether it is a I am requesting you once again, do not write to me that this is my house, this planet is sitting over here. I am not here for consultation. I am not doing a consultation with you all. So if you have if you have a question which is relevant to the topic of today, then please put the questions to me now, because that takes me away from the topic and I lose my focus on from that. Now, many a times I have seen as a professor and as a counselor in the college, the whether it's a boy or a girl, they get into a relationship because back home it's a disorganized family. Believe me, she gets into a relationship out of emotion. Okay. Okay. Now, what happens is when you have something disturbing at your place and you're looking for a shoulder to cry, you and the moment you find a person who is a good listener, who listens to you, you go. I don't mean to say that is not love. I don't say it's always infatuation. But that is what I want you to understand. Was that only because of this reason, or you had other reasons to fall in love as well? Now, let me answer Monica Sharma's question. It looks a little relevant. Sir, what if the fifth sign of the D1 falls in the seventh of D9? Like D1, fifth house is Cancer, and the D9 chart, seventh is a Cancer. Okay, I'll come to that also. See, this is again a very different topic. Now, this is, actually, if your first house and the seventh house is completely reversed in the D9 chart, it is the most compatible chart, I would say. When you are looking at the D9 chart, you are surgically opening the seventh house. Just concentrate on the seventh house. Don't look at any other house, because the topic that has taken you to the Naman's chart is you want to know whether the seventh lord of your D9 chart is strong or no. If that is under affliction, if that is weak, then even if your D1 chart promises good marriage, Naumanch will have trouble for your marriage. Fine. Now, next. So, this is how I lose track then. What I was talking about and where we go then. So we have to understand that seventh house is your wife who comes into your life because of some karmic reason. There is a karmic debt, there is a karmic reason why you get married. And of that relation, of that marriage, you have offspring. That means you have kids. They also come into your life for karmic reasons. See, the fifth house, we say, is a house where everything is self centered. It's me. I want it. So you see a boy or a girl very, very possessive in the fifth house. Why possessive? Because we are self centered. You will very, very, very rarely find that once you got married, people complaining that my wife or my husband is very possessive. Hoga, okay. but that possessiveness would be more of love. But in the fifth house, this is more to do with insecurity. Okay. Now, one more fact I want to clarify with you. See, both the seventh house, please understand it. मैं repeat कर रहा हूं, इसको please समझना. I want you to understand this. Both the seventh house of your D1 chart and your Jupiter, mostly for females, and the Venus for a male's chart is very important. Right? So the point says that both your seventh house placement and your Venus, Jupiter, and also to an extent Mars now starts affecting your life after marriage. So once you are married, your seventh house activates, Jupiter activates, Venus activates, and Mars activates. How many of you are Maharashtrian over here in this group? You know, in the Maharashtrian wedding, we say Mangal Ast. There is, you know, in the ritual, हम मंगल अष्ट एक वो हम लोग पढ़ते हैं उस टाइम पे. Whenever it's a marriage, we always say the girl or the boy is Mangali. Mangal also plays a very important role because Mangal in the Kal Pushya Kundli is the first and the eighth house. Next, if in a female or a women's horoscope, the seventh lord, please understand this now. In a female's horoscope, if the seventh lord D1 chart, don't get confused now. D1 chart, seventh lord is in the 11th house. It simply denotes what? It denotes that this marriage not only would be successful, but you are going to be very lucky for your husband, or the luck of both will, इसको बोलते हैं भाग्य उदय in a female's chart. But what happens in a husband's chart? Now, if the seventh lord, the lord of the seventh, is in your 12th house, let me explain to you. Yeah, the seventh lord is into the 12th house. Now, for example, if I turn this like this, okay, this is the 12th house. See, it clearly denotes that this person, spouse or the wife, will have ill health. The health will not be good. Forget about the divorce and all those things. The health of the spouse will not be good. Unless there is an exception. Unless in the wife's horoscope, if the health shows good, then maybe she will have some illness which is of a very milder nature. Now let us talk about shift of karmas. They always say ये आदमी या ये औरत शादी के बाद पूरी बदल गई. Universe, Blaze, I don't know your name, but none of my love relationship worked out. I was always just, I know it's too personal, but then fine. Monica, say, I'll get back to you. See, I would request you. It's a humble request. See, these are very very sensitive questions that you're asking me, and I actually need to look into your chart. I have to understand why for this person the universe blaze the person calls his channel as. Why is it not working? Look at your fifth house, but that does not mean you will never get married. Sorry, you will get married, and if your seventh lord is strong, maybe your karma says that you will get married to a person, but not otherwise. If it comes from the fifth house, you should go for an arranged marriage in that case. Monica, is the seventh house always active after marriage until the marriage prevails? You're right, until the marriage prevails. If the planet in the seventh house shift in the D9, but say retrograde, does that have any relevance? Charlo, I will just repeat the statement once again. D9 chart does not have aspect, does not have debilitation, does not have exaltation, does not have anything. Okay. D9 chart, if a planet is retrograde in that chart has to be looked upon in a very different purview. For example, you cannot look for aspect, Shani Dev's third aspect, or even the yogas are not formed in the D9 chart. Please understand this. The basic chart is always your D1 chart. D9 chart only talks about the strength of the planet. For example, in D1 chart, if your sun is in Libra, that means it is debilitated. But in the D9 chart, it is into Aries, but that means he is exalted. So he recovers. He recovers from that debilation. No doubt about it. But if your planet in the other thing, first of all, how did you find out whether in D9 chart Mercury is retrograde? Mercury can only be retrograde in D1, D9, D1 chart. D9 chart never shows any planet as retrograde. Okay. Tarkesh, Monica, sir, I'm not sure when to ask you. You ask me if it is today's topic. I don't mind. Ask me. Fine. Now, so you have the options. After my session gets over, I always look into your messages and I try to reply back to them also. So you keep on putting the messages. If I'm not answering it right now, I will definitely answer it. Now, somebody asked me the seventh lord in the eighth house. Okay. Obviously, we know that the seventh lord in the sixth house, eighth house, and 12th lord is not good in D1 chart now. Look whether in your D9 chart is a similar situation is there. If it is not there, you don't have to bother about it. But yes, seventh lord in the eighth house speaks about conflicts, discord, but not always it will take you to a disastrous end, like a separation or a divorce. Not necessarily. There are many other things that we have to look. So, Manoj Kumar, you asked me what are the basic things to see for marriage. Many people see matchmaking, the points minimum 18, but I am not a strong believer of that because I have seen divorce happening with people with 29 and 30 points also. Again, the same thing I want to tell you, my dear friends, that just look at your seventh house. If the lord of that house is in dignity, seventh house is afflicted by any malefic planets, Also see if in your horoscope, if you are a male, is your Venus strong, so your marriage is strong. In the female's chart, if your Jupiter is strong, then your marriage is strong. It will save you, I mean to say. But there are again many other things that we need to consider. See, today, if I have a symptom that I have running nose, I have a sore throat over here, is that an indication of just a cough and cold and flu, or it is always COVID? What will tell me whether I am suffering of COVID or something? I have to go for RT-PCR. तो जब तक आप चेक नहीं करोगे अपना हॉरोस्कोप को और उसको डीपली स्टडी नहीं करोगे, हाउ कैन एन आंसर हाउ कैन समवन गिव यू एन आंसर that why is that your marriage is not working? The seventh lord in the sixth, but it is in the own house, that is, it is Swagra here, then it will definitely, yes, you are right. The damage will not be so much because it is in his own house. And always remember, seventh lord in the sixth always talks about conflict and disagreement. It not necessarily talks about a divorce. Now, I'll give you an example. Your seventh lord is in the ninth house or it is in the fifth house. Good position? Okay. Now, from the Lagna, Rahu is looking. From the 10th house, Saturn is looking. Manga from the 4th house is looking. What will the lord of your 7th house in the ninth will do, or in the 5th he will do? The house has been afflicted by 3 malefic planets. Eighth lord, 8th house lord in the 7th house means the wife that comes into your life. I have seen that she is very spiritual. She comes all of a sudden. She would be more interested in deep research studies. That is why 8th lord has gone into your 7th house. Understand the house itself. So when the 7th goes into the 8th, what happens? It's a dark house. Maybe your wife is very sick, illness. What you were expecting out of her, maybe वो चीजें वो compatible नहीं हो रहा है. It is not happening, and you may have distress and stress because of that. Not her fault. It's not your fault. Can I go ahead now? There are 2-3 points I want to discuss with you. Okay. Now, shift of karma I was talking about. I think I've spoken about it. Now, let us come to the next point. The 7th house afflicted with malefic. This is what I was talking about. Your 7th house is being afflicted or looked by malefic. Now, what is a malefic? Whether it is a natural malefic like Saturn, Sun, Mars, or is it a functional malefic, which means the lord of the 6th house, 8th house, 12th house looking at your 7th house. Or what will happen if, yes, the malefics are looking at your 7th house? Husband's 7th house is balance. That means there are two horoscope in front of me. I look at the husband, I look at the wife's horoscope. Okay, I say, okay, fine. You all are married? Okay, we are married. I look at the husband's house and I say, oh, his horoscope 7th house is perfect. No malefic aspect. There's no nothing wrong in it. So what will I say? I'll say your 7th lord is balanced. So you are very happy to have her in your life. That means you are very happy to, you don't have any complaint with your wife. But does that mean the wife does not have any complaint against you? Try to understand. So he says, I am very happy with my wife. I got the wife I was looking for. She is my dream girl. She's my dream woman. Okay, fine. And when I look at the wife's horoscope, I see in the 7th house very badly afflicted. Obviously, I'm not going to be very verbal. I would say I will keep something private also, but it talks about extramarital affairs, or it leads to a divorce. Because to be in relationship, there has to be I like my wife. It's a statement. Wife does not like you, so where is it leading to? कहाँ जा रहा है relationship फिर? या तो वाइफ सेज ओके आई विल ड्रैग अलोंग आई विल ड्रैग अलोंग, हस्बैंड बोलता है चलो ठीक है यार वॉट एवर यू आर आई लाइक यू, सो इवन इफ यू आर डूइंग रॉन्ग थिंग्स, इफ यू आर नॉट keeping me happy, you're giving me food khana to eat, I will pull on, I will pull on, I will pull on because my 7th house is very good. It doesn't happen like that. That is why we use the word matchmaking. I just cannot look at one horoscope and tell you, okay, fine, everything is fine. No, it's a partnership. Understand? 7th house is a partnership. It talks about business. Marriage is also known in social thing. It's an institution. It's a contract, a karmic contract with the person. Okay. Now, some horoscope which says no marriage. I'll tell you, there are so many horoscope that say मेरी बहन 44 की हो गई, 54 की हो गई, 56 की हो गई, शादी नहीं हो रही है. And the brother and the parents or whatever it is, they are very very disturbed. मेरी इस बात को ध्यान से सुनना. बहुत से लोग हैं वो बोलते हैं मेरी घर में दो दो बहनें, तीन तीन बहनें, पता नहीं कितने सारे लोग हमारे घर में, उनकी शादियां नहीं होती है. I want to ask you a question. Will you take it as a boon or a bane? मुझे इसका जवाब आपसे चाहिए. क्या हमेशा हम बोलेंगे कि अरे इसकी किस्मत खराब है, इसकी ये खराब है, उसका वो खराब है, इसकी तो शादी ही नहीं हुई, इसको बच्चों का सुख नहीं है, इसको ऐसा सुख नहीं है? यही बातें होती है हमारे कल्चर में. बट इज दैट द रियलिटी ऑफ लाइफ? And check the horoscope. I'm telling you, you will see that there is some relationship of Ketu, Venus, and Guru, either by aspect or interchanging the sign, or they are together. कोई ना कोई relationship इन तीनों ग्रह का होगा. What I'm talking about is Ketu, Venus, and Guru. ये तीनों का आपस में अगर संबंध साथ में बनता है, there will be no marriage. Now, I will use another term to explain to you. When I say no marriage means no pending karmas. There are no pending karmas. This person does not need to settle account with the wife, doesn't need to settle account with the kids. He is just come as a birth. He is a moksha person. People may think, अरे बेचारा, ना इसका बीवी, ना बच्चा, ना कुछ ना कुछ. ऐसा नहीं है। जो दिखता है, ऑल दैट ग्लिटर इज नेवर गोल्ड। नाउ, अब जो मैंने बात बोली, नो पेंडिंग कर्मास, लेट अस लुक एट द ट्रांजिट दैट्स गोइंग टू हैपन इन द मंथ ऑफ in few months. We all know, we all know that today Ketu is in the sign of Scorpio, which means it's going to move into the sign of Libra on the 12th of April next year. Fine. I'm talking about the relationship now. Huh? Ketu, when it comes, Ketu to मैं बताया था आपको, and next I spoke about was Venus. It is getting into the sign of Venus in Libra. And the first nakshatra it's going to hit in Libra is Vishakha, Guru. You will see at that time, आपको समझ में आएगा नो पेंडिंग कर्मा का मतलब क्या होता है. You, because see, we all over here. See, many people tell me, sir, मरने के बाद में हमारे जीवन में हम स्वर्ग जाएंगे कि हम नर्क जाएंगे. मैं उससे कहता हूं, भैया हम नर्क में हैं. If we are taking birth and coming over here on this planet, it is the hell for us. Because we have come over here, because we have pending karmas. We are tied up with so many responsibility. ये है वो दुनिया भर की चीजें यहाँ पर है, हमको यहाँ पर सबके कर्मा चुकाने हैं, इसीलिए हम आते हैं. और हम जानबूझ करके इस चीजों में पड़ते हैं. Believe me that God has made things so beautiful that जो चीजें हमारे लिए नुकसान कर सकती है, हम उसी की तरफ आकर्षित भी होते हैं. We get attracted to things which are actually, like, you will not understand. Because God wants you to, जब तक आप आकर्षित नहीं होंगे, until and unless you get attracted to, you will not get into that relationship, and then the outcome is first the wife, then the kids, and the kids growing, and then you start with your karmas. Good karmas, good relationship. Bad karmas, your own kids will go and drop you very happily at the old age home. Karma. और अगर वही हमारा अंत है, तो फिर ये सब क्या है? So the title of this session today was, how deep is your love? As deep as your horoscope. When I was in my law college, I did my law, so ये मैं बहुत बार बोल चुका हूं, मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं, और किसी ने सुना है तो आई एम सॉरी, बट it's very important that one of the professor, a very old person, used to come on the wheelchair. He asked question to the girl sitting over there in the first row. What would you like to have, मतलब what do you see in your future husband? और वो सभी लड़कियों का कॉमन जो निकल के आया था, हमने बोर्ड पे लिखा था, what is the common that they wanted in their husband was he should be dynamic, he should be out, he should be ambitious, he should be this and he should be that. दुनिया भर का. And after that, when the professor asked us, like, what is one word that you would say that whatever the girls have said, what is the one word that you would use for this? Everybody was like, he is completely focused, ambitious, and all that thing. Then he says, do you know in the court today, 70% of the divorce cases are filed where the ground for the divorce, the reason for the divorce is where the wife complains, the husband does not have time for me. there is no consortium, then what you desired for, you got that. If you wanted him to be successful, ambitious, out all those things, how can he give you quality time in your? So sometimes हमको खुद को पता नहीं होता है what are we asking for. This is life, my dear. Anyway, so I have given. This session has gone too long, my dear. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching my channel, watching me. And but before I go, I will not dishearten you. I will definitely give your answers. Also, I'm going from the beginning itself. At the first, it was all about my voice being crackling. We often grow out of relationship because of that. Yes, of course. Then Monica, I answered you. Nupur, okay. Then Monica, I explained the D9 chart. Then somebody asked me if D9 has Ketu Virgo in the first, and in D1 Ketu is in the fifth house Sagittarius. Okay. My dear, I would request you again and again, and once more again, stick to the D1 chart. Don't get confused, people. You know, astrology is an ocean. जितना घुसोगे उतना आपको और ज्यादा कंफ्यूजन होगा. Why don't you just stick to the basics? Study the D1 chart to a point. You know, I studied the D1 chart for 3 years. Until then, I didn't even look at the Naman chart. Go step by step. You have to see whether Ketu in the Ketu in the fifth house in Sagittarius in D1 chart. Just to that. D1 chart mein Ketu in the fifth house says you don't have any, you will be detached to your children, or you may not have the liking for children, or you wouldn't want that responsibility to be taken, because in your last birth you had bad experiences with your children. So Ketu shows that, very frankly. And it also shows that whenever you get married, I don't know whether you're married or no, whenever you get married, your wife's first conception would be a miscarriage, a termination, or an abortion. See, these are all private things, you know. आपको समझना चाहिए. I cannot be discussing all these things in a forum like this. Okay, Charlotte, I have that. Okay, I'm happy about that. Okay, Sunny. Okay. Okay, anybody who has complained against me, आप शिकायत कर सकते हो. Any complaint that I did not answer your question, please put the complaint over there. So I'm happy, Shiva. I'm happy. ठीक है. Fifth house lord in the seventh means love marriage. Fifth lord in the seventh, or the seventh lord in the fifth. Always remember, fifth marriage होने की संभावना ज्यादा होती है. If the seventh lord is into the fourth house, marriage through family. In the 10th house, it is you will find your life partner at the workplace because that is the karma sthan. If you find 7th lord in the 11th house, you will find the person on a social platform like shadi.com or social circle. Yeah, maybe in your social circle. If the 7th lord is in the 3rd house, your husband would be from your neighborhood. That means बचपन से साथ में स्कूल में जाता होगा, वहीं से पट गए हो या पटाए गए हो, whatever it is. If it is in the if it 7th lord in the 2nd house, marriage in the family, मतलब the family के अंदर से ही निकल के शादी होती हुई आती है. 5th lord in the 8th, I've already spoken about it. It is not a good indication, but वाइफ की जो हेल्थ होती है, ओके, वो थोड़ी सी उससे आपका स्ट्रेस बढ़ जाता है. Rashmi, I have noted down your details. Okay, I need to work on this. I have to see it because अभी एकदम से तो मैं कुंडली बना के देख नहीं पाऊंगा. I'll look into it. Yeah. Anyway, I'll pray for you. Love marriage ही होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. Good. Be happy. We all have to go through our karmas here. Anyway. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this, being in this session. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't still. And if you privately want to ask me something, I'm repeating over here. Please, instead of mailing me, I would be more comfortable on WhatsApp. I'm repeating my number of WhatsApp. It is 9890627216. It is even given in the description box. If you can put a little effort and go in the description box, it is given over there. Just put a message over there. Give me some time. I've got too much of bookings nowadays. So give me some time. I'll get back to you. 7th lord in the 1st house talks about wife dedicated or dominated, both the cases, right? So the 7th lord, the wife will have a lot of impact on you, on your image, okay, or she may even come to an extent of domination. Right? Anyway, thank you so much. God bless you all. Love you all. Good night. Take care. I'm ending this session. Next Sunday, फिर मिलते हैं. We'll see what next topic. If you have some topic in your mind, please do write to me so I prepare for that topic then. Yeah. And requesting you during the session, only relevant questions, please. That will be a great help to me. Thank you.